Okay.
All right. So sister number one.
Dang, you had
Goddamn
me fast. I wasn't ready for that.
Mississippi Clay Dirt walking, baby.
What's up?
I seen you on you glowing in the sun like a brand new copper penny.
I wasn't even ready for that. I was like, what the hell? It just happened. The
How you
universe
doing?
was like, bling, bling.
Yeah, we need to show them. They think that
They
anybody
need to
would do.
know. I guess the universe had to prove to them something because I wasn't ready. I was like, damn. It happened like that, you know? It be like that.
I wish you'd have been on here earlier, and the sister was talking about um people be intimidated by her. I told her don't be letting people make you be small so they can fit in.
Why was she
Smother
trying to
their ass.
do that?
No, because she was thinking that she had like an evil spirit with her or something.
Why? Because you know,
She
let me
the
can I say something?
reaction of them people being scared. Yeah, go ahead.
Let me tell y'all something. If you have that energy where people are afraid of your energy or your light or just your presence, that's a good thing. Because if you're one of those people that are evil or something, like people aren't going to want to be around you. They're going to automatically like dispute, like whatever they call that, like disperse from you. They're not going to want to be around you. If you have the energy that's like enlightening or like that is like lighting up a room or just like intoxicating, oh, you're gonna draw a lot of people to you. They may not like it, or they may say they don't like it. It's because they're drawn to you. So that's why they don't like it, because they're like, why am I so drawn to this person? Why is it that like I can't let this person go? Why is it that I'm so intimidated by this person? Why is it that this person makes me feel insecure or whatever? Like that's within them. That's not a you thing, that's a them thing. So if you're experiencing that in this time frame right now, in this element, that means that you're doing something right, and they're obviously not on the frequency or the path that they need to be on. That just means you're on a very high frequency, and people can't they don't know what to do with that. They're so intimidated by that. They're so intimidated. They don't know what to do. So, and I had to learn that a long time ago, y'all. Like, it was so many people intimidated by me. Rod is like, listen, Rod is one of the guys that is not intimidated by me. Like, it's so many guys that y'all have like listened to and everything that was hella intimidated by me. He's never been intimidated by me. As a matter of fact, he was the one who reached out to me and was like, okay, we need a bill. We need a da-da-da-da. And we've always been locked in for like almost 5 years now. So I'm just letting y'all know, like, you're going to intimidate a lot of people when you are on your path, when you're on your journey, when you're doing what it is that you need to do and what you've been called to do. So don't ever let that deter you from your purpose. You just got to continue to go on your purpose. You can't let nobody deter you, or just because they're this person, they feel intimidated by you, then maybe they're not supposed to be in your life. It ain't no
That's
maybe.
what I
They
told
ain't
her.
supposed to be in your life.
I told her from my experience, when we try to make ourselves little so we can make the people that's uncomfortable stay, them end up being the one that cause us the most damn problems. Be big, smother their ass out the room, make them run like you got gasoline on their ass, chasing them with a match.
Absolutely.
Because them the ones that causes kingdoms to fall, because people trying to cater to their weakness instead of making them be stronger.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not catering to their weakness. Fuck them people. That's my motto. F around and find out.
You got something bigger here. There's something bigger you're supposed to be doing on this planet. You're not here to accommodate people. You're not here to make people feel better about themselves. You know, if they
So I watched all that play out. And when I knew they were talking about transfer criminals and all that, I'm like, wait a minute. I don't see nothing about Larry. So had to put the ass back on notice as we were watching it play out. So we kept doing updates with the bankruptcy of DC, the United States. and caught that too, because they were going to try to keep moving this along in this era, which they still are, right?
Mm-hmm.
The deal is, there was a lot of milestones from the concert to when they were supposed to respond. We hit up Kamala, we hit up Trump, I ain't even hit up fake Biden. I hit up even Trump's son, one of the advisors. Like, we went direct to guys. Like, it wasn't just we posted on social media. Fucking sent messages directly to their asses because I wasn't playing.
Yep.
So time's up.
Well,
And Christina said new negotiation.
fuck negotiating. We already did past that. That's what all them treaties they violated was a negotiation. So we didn't already pass that stage. They violated every single treaty they can't be negotiated with.
Yeah, but they kept trying to keep going with the Build Back Better spending. That shit didn't pass. I was adamant as they would keep going in the news with their bullshit. Spiritually, I was sending that shit right back. Nope, you're not passing. You're not going to continue this fucking government and pretend woke now. Y'all out of business. You shot yourself in the fucking foot. We just waiting for our people to wake up, rise up.
Mm-hmm. I know this.
You want your shit back? It's ready.
Now look, I'm not vindictive, right? But I will fuck a motherfucker up about my family. I don't have no problem with that. And I'll tell you how far I need to go in order to take care of the family. Now it's the whole goddamn family in distress. Ain't no one motherfucker gonna come in and keep me from, I guess, too many of us. I can't, if the weight on my shoulders, I can't buckle. Right?
Like, she had the luxury of being comfortable or maybe not seeing it. But when I walk out my door and I drive around my city and I look at people that look like me and we all suffering, and I'm like one fucking flea away from being on the street like them,
Mm-hmm.
fuck that side, and we're bringing everybody up, not the one that's sitting high on the hog.
You know, especially when they misleading and cheating the people and trying to get me to sell out. Now that's the part that pissed me off. How the fuck you gonna try to get me to sell out? You almost didn't know I'm the most tested motherfucker in the history of the world. Every motherfucking clan sent somebody to see if I'm a bump straight, and I always bump straight. Right? When they bump me left, I bump back left. When they bump me right, I bump back right. When they bump me straight, I
So
bump
is
back
there
straight.
anything you can do to keep going with the Larry Hoover? Anything else that we haven't thought of that we can pursue?
I'm not even trying to think of nothing. I want mama to tear this bitch up so they'll see I ain't bullshitting. They'll get their attention.
And wait.
Now, she don't have to tear this motherfucker up if we see the three kings. It's not necessary. The weather will adjust to the climatic conditions of the season as soon as we see them. But until then, her and her daughter's just gonna rain the most beautiful destruction you motherfuckers ever seen while y'all screaming for mercy, and she ain't gonna have none because y'all done already exhausted all of the merciful means. It's not personal. See, people be thinking that it's vindictive, it's evil. How in the fuck is it evil when these motherfuckers got us killing each other? They training our kids how to be pedophiles, draining their blood. Like, me telling the motherfuckers a fraud is weak.
Well, I mean, that's why I was just trying to tell you it's confusing. It was confusing in the beginning because we were trying to keep our eye on who is the enemy. And then when you have somebody like right standing next to you, they're the enemy as well. You didn't know. So it was just, it got really mucky in the end for me. Well, I just had to step back. Like, this is crazy because my energy's been on the motherfuckers that got our shit. They've been playing pedophiles, all of them, watching all the cleanup, making sure that the white hats transition it to the green hats. And who's the green hats? Indigenous people of the land. So we can get to a certain point. Yeah, we getting this there. Yeah, Trump comes back. Yeah, the Republic. That's not our shit though, guys.
Yeah, I don't fuck with no republics, no democracies, all that shit wrong me.
So y'all need to pass that word out. We about halfway there.
All that shit wrong me. All you gotta do is go back. Plato wrote the Republic. Plato wrote the Republic. He was a Greek. The Romans took the Republic and created some shit called a democracy, right? And they used the artificial democracy to run a hand-picked selection process in your face. They got the people believing they
The
vote count.
two-party system doesn't work. We've proven it. Somebody in the comments was saying.
Look,
And it's like when one year the next group gets mad and then they send all of their people in, and then it's always an imbalance fighting. So whatever it was, that's not us. And so a lot of us are getting caught up with the patriot movement, the white hat stuff, the Nasser, the digital currency backed in gold shit, but that's still not us. That's not us.
yeah. So in mine said Chief Malik Bay. Chief Malik Angel Bay, the Chicago Red Bull, Larry the Chicago Blue Bull, and I'm the gorilla that's bringing the bulls home. So Big Tukey is the West Coast Bull, the crooked man walking. I done already post the indigenous tribes and the Dawes Roll. The Dawes Roll still doing the crooked man because they couldn't stop doing it. If we ever wanted to get back on top, when them Dawes Rolls decided that these motherfuckers wrote treaties with them and wasn't going to keep them, they sided with us. So they had to keep the dances going on the land. Even though they didn't have the blood right, they was able to keep the rituals in place. And then later on, they was able to twig in through marriage, right? So they mixed. They from the land and they from the land across the water. They came over here as the workers on the ship, the what they call ship hands, deck hands. Mm-hmm. And the deck hands was the indentures when they hit land. And the indentures was the ones that they signed Dawes Roll contracts with. Now watch how they played us, because it's real subtle. You won't see it if you're not paying attention to their operations. They took the elders out of our community because they wasn't allowed to kill them and put them among strangers in the Dawes Roll so that they can tie back the bloodlines of the indigenous people to the Dawes Roll. In other words, they kidnap your grandmama and they put her in a household full of kids that ain't hers and tell her to raise them. Mm-hmm. Right? Now they miseducating them through an educational system on purpose. But Big Mama telling them the truth of they self, who they is, how they got over here, and they don't know how she know this shit. Because she can't read. So she didn't get it out of a book. But she's telling these motherfuckers where they came from, how they got here. And when they realize these is them ones, we don't want no parts of them motherfuckers that brought us over here, because they got the fake shit. Big Mama right here got the real shit, telling us the real. The largest repository of voodoo knowledge right now is in the hands of a so-called Jewish woman in California. And she takes students. And she got a voodoo textbook she wrote herself based off the rituals she got from Big Mama that taught her. Firsthand. She don't look nothing like us. But she kept that shit alive for us. Madame Blavatsky gave us the theosophy to let us know there ain't no religion higher than the truth, motherfucker. Right? Rudolf Steiner gave us anthroposophy. Right? Anthroposophy is the philosophy of anthropology, which is the study of ancient history. And it's of the sophist order. That's why you got Sophia. It's the ancient history of Sophia. That's Isis unveiled. Tied him right back into Blavatsky. Israel Regardie wrote The Middle Pillar. The middle pillar is about waking your kundalini. Straight up the middle. Bump straight, motherfucker. Because when you get to turning all crooked and shit, the motherfucking kundalini don't want to rise. Bump straight. That's it. right? Manly P. Hall, Master of Masters, kept the records, kept them clean, and then put the information in the public domain. He only nothing like us. Aleister Crowley, they called him the wickedest man that ever lived. But if you study Thelema and you know who Iwas is, you're going to take another look at him. Franz Bardon don't look nothing like us, but had all Thoth secrets in his motherfucking collection of works. Right? What the fuck is he doing with Thoth information if these motherfuckers is the devil and Thoth is the one that's got to get us out of this motherfucking connection?
They got it, and they a thing called copyright. They want to make some money off our shit.
Here go the problem. One of us get a little bit of knowledge, and our egos make us want to be better than our brothers and sisters. Oh, I know more than you, you idiot. But they keep thinking us country boys is dumb because we don't have no alphabets behind our name. Whatever Big Mama say do, it's going to get done. We're going to figure out how to do it. We're going to nigger rig the fence to make sure the horses don't get out. Right? We're going to Jimmy rig the lights to make sure that when the motherfucking power go down, we still got power. We're going to dig trenches and moats to make sure that the motherfucking predators can't get to Big Mama house.
Some of us are.
I'm talking about her real boys.
I'm just saying some,
you know,
but not all.
Yeah. Well, the ones that's her real baby's
it.
gonna do the work. They don't got no problem doing no work.
Exactly. That's all I'm saying. The real gonna show.
Mm-hmm.
This year is all about the real gonna show.
Mm-hmm. So I don't be hiding. I don't give a fuck. Bring them. They can. You look. If a motherfucker bump straight, they ain't gonna have no problem out of me. As long as they stay crooked, then they gonna start having a problem. Cause I'm gonna start saying something to their ass, and they don't like it the way I say shit to their ass. Right? So when motherfuckers threatening me with voodoo spells, right? How you gonna put a spell, a conjure on the king of the conjure? Make this make sense. The motherfucker that's got all of the magical keys.
They haven't been paying attention because we done been through this. We done had like so many rounds of motherfuckers with doing black magic candle.
Mirror.
They've been doing it and they work and they still trying it. So it's funny now. Mm-hmm. It's amusing.
Hey, look, I got a clerk at the gate that can say, always say, return to sender. That shit don't belong here. So when the clerk say it don't belong here, it ain't getting in. Mama say it don't belong here, it ain't getting in. Big Mama say kill it, it's dead. You know, so
I did them devil's food cakes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Return to sender.
I'm gonna let somebody in to ask some questions, Rashida.
Yeah, I'm out. So I'm good. So I'm gonna leave. You continue teaching.
Well, I only got a few more minutes before I run out of juice. Let me plug this motherfucker in so I can get a couple questions in.
Plug it in. I'll talk to you later.
Okay. I don't have a full description of the blue rock from the book, but I can tell you from experience, it don't mean what it say.
Okay.
So the blue rock, that's the York Rite Blue Lodge. Remember the War of the Roses?
Absolutely, with the Yorks and the Lancasters.
Right. Well, the Yorks, Baba owned that now. He took it over through erudition and ascension. So when he say the Blue Rock, he's talking about the one that nobody don't know coming off the Blue Lodge, which is the York Rite. And it is the same if off the Red Lodge, it's the Black Rock. And no matter how you look at it, it's the stone the builders rejected. The stone the builder rejected, we know, becomes the chief cornerstone, right?
Okay.
But where do it come from? When you go to Daniel and it talk about the giant with the head of gold and the feet of iron and clay,
Right.
and being the Babylonian empires, right?
Right.
And then it say, what was the end of it? A single stone would be hewn from the mountain without the hands of a man, and will roll down the hill and strike the feet of iron and clay. Remember that?
I sure do.
And that brings the whole unholy Roman Empire down. So the iron and clay is the symbolic of America, the great melding pot. You can't meld iron with clay. But what it's talking about is the royal bloodlines mixed with the peasantry. So when we're talking about the stone the builders rejected, besides the biblical reference, where else do you find that stone being hewn from a mountain? That's the story of the Monkey King, Sun Wukong. In India, the Buddha called Sun Wukong Hanuman, which means a handy man, a man that's handy to have around, know a little bit about everything, which brings us to the riddle. A jack of all trades, master of none, is still better than a master of one. So it's saying that the handyman know a little bit of something about a little bit of everything. And then he's going to put it all together so you can see the big picture. So this is what the blue stone is. It's the blue house, the blue lodge. It's the one being trained. And this would bring an end to all of those other nefarious ventures that the lesser beings was using to try to conquer the so-called gods.
Right.
Right. So they put all of these councils and committees together so that they can use multiple individuals' brain power to usurp us. The problem is that ain't gonna work.
Oh, wow. So another question that one of the other sisters had is the knowledge of non-ether is very complicated. Could you give it to them in a more simplistic way? Like what non-ether is, how it works, and how it personified itself as flesh and blood beings in the form of our race, dark-skinned, woolly hair people?
Okay, so when we talk about the non-ether being, look at it like the body. The earth is a living organism, and the non-ether beings is the antibodies. The energy that produces the non-ether being is pure source energy. If it produced more than one of them, it produced what we call the gods, plural. If only one is produced, it's a god, right? So the non-ether beings are the ones who nature used as antibodies to clean up the mishaps of developing humanity. So when we say non-ether, you're talking about the highest spiritual expression, and it comes across as the salt of the earth in the music and the art and varying forms of entertainment. The non-ether is expressed as a right brain, abstract, non-linear reasoning that surpasses logic. The inorganic beings and the hybrids that's here operate off left brain linear logic, and is subjugated to the right brain when they synced.
So isn't that like saying that non-ether is more of the feminine principle than the masculine if it's more right brain? Because the right brain.
So if you want to read about it without using the term non-ether, you would go to India and read about something called Shakti energy.
Okay, I'm familiar with that by studying Hinduism.
Right. So the Shakti energy is the same as the non-ether energy. If you were Egyptologist, you would read about it as Sekhmet energy.
Okay, Sekhmet means power, and it's the feminine of Sekhem.
And the man who is privy to carry the Sekhmet energy is normally going to be volatile if he don't have his self-control developed, what we call he haven't become a master yet. He haven't mastered his lower nature.
Okay, so expound on that a little bit. Like, because what you just said was that the man who carries the Sekhmet, which is the feminine energy, but don't really carry the or I should say he's not really in tune with the Sekhem, the masculine energy. You said he'll self-destruct.
Right. He becomes tyrannical by nature. It's just natural for him to do it. It's just like giving a baby a nuclear briefcase wide open and don't never tell him he's gonna end the world if he push the button. And you know what the baby gonna do? Slap all the buttons.
He sure is.
So that's all that's all it is. When you feel that power, if he haven't conquered his ego, his lower nature, then he becomes subjective to tyrannical use of that higher energy, because one, it's going to drive him to destroy because the system is out of order. But if he haven't conquered his lower nature, he will never know what part of the system to fix. So he just tear everything up.
Oh yeah, he out of order. He definitely out of order.
So we call them, when you look in the human arena in history, we call them despots. We call them tyrannical leaders, psychopathic leaders, rogue kings, stuff like that is in the history when they get that energy and haven't conquered that lower nature. And so we still talking nine ether. We just using it in different schools of thought. In Egypt, Sekhmet, and India is Shakti, right? And the Shakti is activated by the Kriya, which is the fire of the root chakra, right? And it carries all the way up to the crown. Okay, so they say in the Kabbalah is from Mount Kuf to Kefra. In the Kabbalah, the same energy is called the Ein Sof.
Right. I know about that. I studied the Kabbalah extensively.
Right.
And
so it's the same energy.
Okay, so let's go here with it. In the Holy Tablets, the Master Teacher taught us that non-ether was conscious awareness and conscious moral judgment gases. Can you explain the difference in how that's actually perceived? Yeah. So as you purify your ego to receive your higher consciousness, right? You got to remember, pure chaos is melanin. Melanin is sentient on its own. It don't need nobody to be sentient. But being utilized along with the other systems of the body, then the non-ether has to be the one who contain the chaos and bring the balance. The balance is where you find the righteous. Okay. Right? The righteousness is a side effect of purifying the lower ego and receiving that higher Shakti non-ether energy. So basically, are you saying that non-ether would be a higher form of intelligence that allows us to be able to discipline ourselves in the spiritual realm and the physical realm to be able to be in harmony with both sides? Well, I would more look at it like once you gain the discipline, you gain access to use non-ether energy in real time. Lacking the discipline and the self-control, then you just a Sakomao monkey band, bouncing around, never knowing what you're doing. But go ahead. So the discipline gives you access to the non-ether. Now you finna make a connection with source energy. When you make this connection, you have to already have the self-discipline to activate what's already in you. So now the side effect of that is once you can reason to the level to activate the non-ether, now the melanin chaos comes in, because you won't be able to balance the chaos if you don't have the discipline to receive the non-ether. And the chaos is melanin. When it come in, it's going to automatically send you on an immediate downward spiral to your lowest base nature to return and rise back up as the phoenix. Why is that? Because it's chaos. When it first hit, it's like a bomb. And when it hit internally, you don't know what's going on immediately, but your higher self is using the discipline you develop to reorganize what the chaos is doing, because you're using the source, you're using the prime creator to balance out total insanity. So, okay, so melanin, why is melanin based in chaos? Can you give us the science of that?
It's not based in chaos. It's the prime creative substances in which the order came from. When we talking about melanin, we talking about in Egyptology, it's the primordial noon, right? It's the waters of creation, and the waters are running amok until you can harness them waters' energy. Water
Right.
symbolic of spirit.
Right, because I remember when Pops was teaching us about noon and basically undifferentiated matter, he was explaining how this is a state of nothingness, basically a state of existence before things actually combined and aggregated and came together to form what we see now today in the physical realm.
Yep. So it's like if you pour a soda pop in the glass, it's going to fizz. It's not fizzing because it couldn't fizz in the bottle. It's only fizzing because you just poured it into a cup and disturbed it.
Right.
This is what the melanin is doing. So now, as you learn to control pouring the soda in the cup in order to reduce the amount of fizz so that you don't overflow the cup, this is how you your higher self is organizing the chaos energy, and it uses your self-discipline to do it.
Now, when you look in like Google or different scientific books of ancient Greek mythology, they attempted to teach us that chaos was a Greek god that represented the universe when it wasn't unformed. Or excuse me, when it was unformed, when it was undifferentiated matter. How would you go about explaining that to the grassroots?
So the Greek sciences comes from the Egyptian knowledge. The metaphors that they're using in the Greek is actually a science. So when they're talking about chaos, they literally talking about the primordial noon. So imagine all good and bad things existing in a state of non-existence, bumping into each other, and there's no form of expression. And it's just random and erratic.
Right.
In order to have creation, you have to bring that under control of order. And this is why they say out of darkness comes the light. Light is created. If you remember in the Holy Tabs, Potts talks about the dot forming a line.
That's in chapter 1, tablet 1.
Yep.
And the line formed the wall formed the square, and so on and so forth.
He's telling you how light is created from the primordial noon in order for it to manifest visible spectrum so you can see it.
So was that this is for the people, was that a literal line, a literal wall, or what does it represent metaphorically?
Metaphorically, there's no terms in the languages that we know on the earth to explain it. And the closest thing that he can give you to explain it is the dot forming the line. Because you can use the 2D written expression to relay a 19-dimensional framework in a simplified form, but it's going to take years for the mind to unlock it.
Okay, and that's now that you say that, another question that came up in the conversation with a couple of the sisters that's in our class. You mentioned the 5D. So let's say 3D, 4D, 5D. I want you to kind of sort of in simplistic terms explain what is a dimension, and then from there, what is the third dimension, fourth dimension, and fifth dimension?
Okay, so now what we're looking at when we're talking about the dimensions is levels of frequency and how the frequency is expressed so that the mind can perceive what the frequency is telling it. So when we talk two-dimensional, we talk about that thing which is written on a flat surface. That's the 2D. When we talk three-dimensionally, we're talking about a fixed position reality that have three forms of existence: solid, liquid, and gas. When we get to the fourth dimension, this is the plane of force. This is the field of mind. And by the way, that's the dream realm, the fourth dimension.
That's in the tablets 2, chapter 7, the living soul. But go ahead, brother.
Yeah, oh man, you're right on it. So the dream realm is where we create the lower realms, 3D, 2D, like that. The dimensions is described in 3D as like different light rays. Like the light take on the spectrum and we can only see a small portion of it.
Right.
So the portion that's above our perception would be higher dimension, and those which is lower from lower perception is what we would call lower dimensions. The 3D is where all of the upper dimensions is expressed in the physical realm. This is the best way to describe 3D is 3D fixed position reality, having a God particle as a stabilizing link. So when they discovered the Higgs boson in 2012, that was discovering the wall that the line created. Because it's all condensed light rays. Everything that we think we see as a physical object on a molecular level is nothing that we think it is.
Right. That's why they say the physical world is an illusion.
Yeah. So when you study epigenetics, you realize that wherever we are in truth, we not really here. We projected here in consciousness. So the easiest way to explain our collective unconscious, where we all linked, is like a big bag of water, and you dropped it on a pin cushion. Every little stream of water that comes out of that is one of us, but the source bag is Prime Creator.
Got you. So go ahead.
We call it a mastermind, like Napoleon Hill Mastermind Group, and the Law of Success explains it perfect, where it can be used. So the whole world of thinking people forms a egregore, which is a thought form. The egregore then takes on its own life separate from those who created it. The whole trick of the secret society is learning to take control of the egregore of humanity, which goes back to the 100 monkey effect. When you strategically place specifically powerful minded people and specific geographical locations around the world, and they can communicate telepathically, all of the ones who turn their telepathy off become subject to the will of those who could drive the egregore, which is only a thought form. It's a collection of thoughts. So to hack into it, you build up a belief system. What happens when you build up a belief system is you create a thought form with its own subsection in the egregore at large. So it's like creating a little cell of believers over here and over there. That's why religion is there. All of these years of our people praying to Jesus, Muhammad, we created the power in the egregore of those religions that make it more believable to the ones who haven't woke up to the egregore's nature yet.
And you define egregore as what?
A thought form.
That everybody has, or it's just relative to specific people?
Well, the universal mind is the egregore. They call it the universal mind, or the great mind, different stuff like that in metaphysics. But it's just the egregore. This is the collection of all of the thinking that we do on the planet, knowingly or unknowingly. The side effect of any agreement between two or more people generates an egregore. And that's how religion is kept powerful.
So how does that relate to the oversoul?
The oversoul is the encasement of the universal mind. The oversoul don't care if you murder a motherfucker or if you get murdered. It's indifferent. Not until it comes into the universal mind do we start distinguishing right from wrong and developing the polarity of opposites, which is a 3D construct. Because once you get into the 5D, murder and birth is the same thing.
Right. It's opposite ends of the same spectrum.
Right. It's just how Pop say it. The only difference is degree.
Right. Just like he was saying, like, there's no good or bad. Like you can use fire to burn somebody, or you can use fire to cook some food that's healthy and feed them to nourish their particular physical body.
So it's neither good or bad. It's what Darth Vader tell Luke. I mean, not Darth Vader. Obi-Wan told Luke. The force is neither good nor bad. It's your intent that makes it that way.
And how you use it.
Yeah. So just because I got a gun don't mean I got to shoot everybody. But some people are from a different mindset. If they got a gun, they're gonna shoot many motherfuckers as they can until they don't got the gun or the bullets no more.
So let's deal with that, the universal mind. Is there one mind that we're all connected with in the universe where we gain our thoughts and our perception from? Or is it one mind that gave us the ability to perceive things on our own?
And simultaneously, both of those things you just said. One produces the other. You can't have one without the other. That's like trying to have a corn without the cob. You can't have one without the other. Now you can take the corn off the cob. You can use the cob separate from the corn. But in its original form, it's going to produce both.
Got you. So a language question that I was asked, because I have been, and shout out to my elder brother Love, my mentor. He and I have been having extensive conversations about the alchemy of the language in Nuwabic. Can you kind of go in depth about how our particular language evolves us to pretty much have the frequencies that's needed, and speak a little bit about the frequencies as far as like what is needed and why?
Okay, so we in this frequency now of oppressed versus the oppressor. That's the nature of the Aquarian age up until now. It's going into the nature of the Piscean age up until now, going into the Aquarian age, is taking away those opposite or those things that we are under now, those two opposing views. It's like creating a hologram. You need a fixed idea, and then you need a mutable mind. The mutable mind and the fixed idea work in conjunction to create the holographic reality. Right? So the language influences, when you know the frequencies and the tones, influences the hologram and how it manifests. So we're talking about the double slit experiment in physics, telling you the mechanics of it. If you don't focus the attention on the frequency is a wave. But once you focus the attention on it, you add the second element to lock it into a fixed position, and it becomes the particle. In the frequency of language, you have to have a grasp of language to know which frequencies facilitate higher thought and which frequencies drive you to a lesser thought. So we're trying to overcome the thoughts that allows oppression to be acceptable to anybody, anywhere on the planet. So Baba say, if a leader gonna be a leader, he gotta have a plan that's workable anywhere. Because if the plan is not workable anywhere, everywhere, it's not truly workable anywhere, right? So we talking about the thinking of leadership. So when you put a language together, like Pops in the community put Nuwapic together, you put Nuwapic together with the understanding of how the tones affects the whole cortex. Now the brain is in the reptilian brain, the old mammal brain, and the new mammal brain, the neocortex and the endocortex, or the old cortex, the old brain. When you use all three of them in conjunction, you create a different pitch and tone in which the ears become the receivers of, in order to tell the organism of the self at what level to think. So when we talk about Yeah, so we got like 800 people in here.
It's going down. Let's share that screen right there. Well, so while we got you on that topic on the Conjure Wars, what was them setting up what part of the Washington Monument and the mirror, like the mirror cities too, like Memphis, Cairo, really Las Vegas like a mirror city to me. So they using them when they doing this conjuring, are they mirroring? Why are they mirror imaging both sides of the field, the left side and the right side with these
Right
monuments and things?
Well, you got to remember they got twin cities to every prominent city in America got a twin city somewhere else in the world.
Okay.
These obelisks are symbols of patriarchy.
Okay.
It's called Cleopatra's Needle.
Okay.
Because when it was originally set up, they would build an obelisk to represent a Kemetic ruler. The women had chosen their man as the alpha out of all of the royal bloodline. They done went through all of the men and they chose one. So they erect the obelisk to show that he's potent. His phallus is strong and long.
Okay.
Right now, if you look to the left of the obelisk see the one with the cross on top of it?
Yeah.
That means that a man was conquered by the Christian church. Or one of the leaders was conquered by the Christian church. That's why it's a cross on top of it. Ain't supposed to be nothing on top of an obelisk. Okay, now if you look to the left of that, you're going to see a mammary gland as the dome of a mosque.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a breast of the woman. If you could zoom in, you're gonna see it's a cross on top of it.
Yeah.
So the woman and the man have both been subjugated by the church. The church conquered them both. So they plant their symbol on top of our symbol.
Yeah. You got that, Rod.
All right, now what we trying to do is we trying to reclaim what's rightfully ours. In other words, take the cross off the top of those two images and you restore the matriarchy and you